Good evening, viewers. Yet another exciting episode of The Fix, which we have every Friday evening here at Teledal, Brusubi Phase 1. And today in our studio, we welcome Aji Saptujay, the Councillor for London Corner, Sarakunda West, basically, and also Omar Saibo Kamara, who is also an activist, also a human rights defender. Of course, his face is familiar with the press, and we will have a discussion with them today. And the topic today, we'll be talking about promoting inclusive democratic governance through active youth and women participation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Teledal, and we will be right back after this short break. jërëjëf ñu ngi nuyu suñu seetaankat yi fii la Teledal semaine bu nekk àjjuma ju nekk si ngoon dinañ fi faral di ñëw toog waxtaan ak suñu nit ñi te tey moom si ngoon liñ fi am mooy Aji Saptujay councillor bi nga xam ne mu ngi jógee London Corner ak Omar Saibo Kamara obviously Gambia xam nañ leen ñoom ñëpp war a ñëw fii tey ñu waxtaanee lu ànd ak ndaw ñi ak jigéen ñi seen taxawaay si wàlli politique si wàlli yóbbu réew mi si kanam ba pare buñ réeree mbir ne programme baa ngi tudda di Fix ñuy saytu di tànn ay mbir yoo xam ne ñu ngi ko am si ay suñ xew-xewi jamono ñëw ak ay xalaat yoo xam ne dañooy saafaraal yoo xam ne dinañ yóbbu suñ réew mi si kanam kon ma commencé suma ndeyjoor rek ne Aji Saptujay bismillah si Teledal soo baa ngi tudda di Fix nga nuyu sa askan ak gox gi nga jógee ñu ngi laa dalal si jàmm si Teledal tey.
waa asalaamaaleykum maa ngi nuyu ku nekk sa tur ak sa sant Katung be koy na di nuyu waa London Corner di jaajëfal waa Teledal di CEO ak yow sa booba Diallo ak suma ko panelist bi di nuyu ñëpp di wax ne Aji Saptujay di elected councillor for London Corner ward moo fi toog tey bugga naa waxtaan ak ñi nga xam ne nag ñooy waa London Corner li tax nag ñu bugg a jël olof sax dafa nekk ne su ñooy ut karta suñ nit ñi dañ dee wax ne ñun dañ dee wax laaka boo xam ne ñoom dañ ko dee dégga waaye suñ demee ba am place rek dañ dee wax beneen laaka looloo tax ñu choose ne tey dinañ wax si li nga xam ne mooy olof waaye nonetheless dinañ dem ak tamit English along the line jërëjëf Aji kon again mu nekkal ñu kontante Saibo mamira ñu musila jamar ñu musila folol di jàng waaye dinañ doon kontaan torop tamit nga nuyoo si olof mi bi nga use amin Aji Saptujay lu ñu wax mun nañoo laaka Walish mbaa ñu laaka Mandinglish at the end of the day ñu gën a waxtaan ak suñ nit ñi ñu seet so you are bismillah again di nekkal nañu kontante bu rëy pour welcome la si Teledal of course Brusubi Phase 1 and this is our weekly so called The Fix looking at current affairs and also coming up with solutions to ensure that at least we are not only pointing at problems, we are not only looking at issues at hand, but also new some ideas you have is to ensure that we fix issues of current affairs.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. It's a pleasure to be here. And greetings to the CEO and yourself, and then the entire crew of Teledal. Okay, Teledal, and then the Fix. So it's a pleasure to be here. I remember one time I had this conversation with you. So the invitation was like, wow, I was going to do this. But I say greetings to all the viewers and listeners and then fans to this show. That it's a pleasure to be here. And what makes it more beautiful for me is to talk about the active participation of young people and women in our governance system. I look forward to discuss this not just as an activist, but also as somebody that is a specialist in governance. We look at both the academic and also the general societal issues that makes it very prominent and also significant for young people to be actively participating in our government structures, especially women. So I look forward to a truthful conversation.
Thank you very much, Saibo. I think it's also a great pleasure to have you on this show. My guest to Rexy Aji. Aji, jógee London Corner, nekk jigéen noo ko dundee ci dem ak ñëw saaf wanteeg ay ñoo xam ne politicien lañ balaa yow nga ñëw bokk si nekk politicien waaye noo ko dundee parce que jigéen yu bari fa mel ni dañuy daw politique.
Wow, lolu moy dega. Thank you once more, Jalo. It was not very easy. To be honest, it was not easy. Being a woman and being part of politics is another thing. But I will advise all women out there to engage themselves in community developments, in community services. I was working with my community for more than 2 decades. That's why I have the bold heart and the courage to be part of politics. It was not very difficult for Aji Sabtiu because I have been in the arena for a long time. Lima wax moy man pour nekk politicien métti wut si man dama yaaga liggéey ak suma waa gox di leen liggéeyal volontarily di leen defal services yoo xam ne suñ gox moo ko soxla moo tax bu waxtu bi jotee rek pour ma taxaw nekk kansulo jafewut si man so pour ma gis ne ñu ne jigéen ak politics daf dee métti man I don't face that.
Well jërëjëf Aji waaye dëgg la réeréewuñ mbir ne ñaareel nga oo jigéen ne ko kaay ñu bokk si liggéeyi dëkk bi waaye foog ñu jaaralee ko si politique mu nekk loo xam ne da ngeen dee jàppa seen bopp ñu war a nekk gannaaw lu bari lu tax.
waa courage lañ amul rek jigéen yu bari they don't have the courage parce que liñ dee gis mooy jigéen yu bari suñ bokkee si arène bi mostly liñ dee receive bully and insults intimidations loolu daf dee bari si jigéen yi nga xam ne dañ dee bokk si politique te nekkul ne ñëpp a am xol bi ñëpp a nekk muñkat ñëpp mënuñ koo jéngu looloo tax ñu bari dee dellu gannaaw dangaa gis jigéen su taxawee dangaa gis kuy gas sa history gannaaw di la wax lu bari loo xam ne sax xëj na sa doom xamu ko woon so looloo tax jigéen yu bari day am complexe ñu dellu gannaaw waaye jigéen boobu du Aji Sabtiu man I have that courage te dama yaaga naa liggéey ak ñi nga xam ne ward councillors lañ ma liggéeyal leen volontaire looloo tax ma xam steps yi nga xam ne moom laa war a jël.
moo la tax a mun a ñëw ba fi nga egsi nii.
tey
now let me just switch to Saibo. Saibo, what is wrong with our governance system?
That is going to be a marathon one, but I'll try. So there is a lot of issues with our governance system, but I think the problem could be traced back from we have not shifted from the colonial structures of the governance system that we inherited. We were colonized, and when we were giving back this country, when we took Gambia in 1965 as an independent state, we inherited a system. It's just the human resources and human capital that we change, but the system remains the same. And that is why you look at our law is still the UK common law system, you look at our educational system, you look at our infrastructural development, it's all just how it was. And that's where the problem lies. But that's not where the excuse should be. I think our governance system, the major problem is we don't believe in inclusive policy establishment, right? And when I say this, we don't even know our problems in the first place. We are not knowledge-based state if you come to building policies and governance structures. We just want to do it out of politics, out of, okay, we need to do this to win people's heart. We need to reverse back and understand what does it take to run a state. What is governance in the first place? What are the pillars of governance? And that's where the weakness are. I think our governance system lacks that inclusivity, lacks that transparency, lacks that accountability, and lacks sometimes that visionary leadership that will amass all of these pillars together that establish not just governance, but good governance structures, right? And that's where the problem lies. And if we lack these pillars, it gives us a room to have all of the bad issues that infiltrate governance system and weaken them. Corruption, lack of resources, and lack of foresight, lack of that whole idea of development. So that's what, let's say, for example, one of the biggest problems we have in our governance system is corruption. And then this is deep-rooted. Is it simply because we don't have that clear-cut pillars established? If Saibo is corrupt today, there is no that legal framework, there is no that framework that holds Saibo accountable. So there is lack of accountability. There is lack of that communication. Let's say today she is a woman, for example. She is a councillor. The way she communicates to her people right now, if she communicates to them that consistently with her policies, with her programs, with what she do, then people tend to embrace her. She communicates effectively to the people. And that bridge the whole gap of transparency.
Saibo, I have a question for you, and I'll come back to you on this same line where you stopped right there, because that's imminent. I'm just going to switch to her a little bit. Aji, gis nga dafa am liñ dé waxtané saa yu nekk ñu ne suñ nit ñi ñun dañ dé disconnect ak ñoom as leaders. Now nga nekk njiit nga disconnect na ñoom Saibo loolu la nekk di jéema pour leeral nii ne dañ dé disconnect parce que duñ dé wax ak ñoom consistently ba loolu mën a sink. Waaye soo seetee let's say for example ndaw ñi mbaa yàkkamti wuñ
non
ndaw ñi mbaa bugguñ yëpp bugga yëpp léegi jigéen ñi seen des gannaaw ndax suñ ñëwee si kanam dinañ mën a yóbbu réew mi loo xalaat
waaw Diallo yóbbu réew moom ku nekk mun na koo def man li maa gisee nit ñi ñëpp amut ndaw amut jigéen amut góor amut mag everybody is capable ñëpp mun nañoo yóbbu réew mi dafa des ci delivery bi yóbbu réew
loolu mooy yóbbu réew
loolu laay wax dafa des ci delivery bi nit koo xam ne ndaw nga age limit amul si na nga mun a deliver si nit ñi loolu moo gën a important parce que man soo ma seetee mag laa waaye tamit doo ma oyee si mag yu mag yooyu
waaw dëgg
bu maa liggéeyal la noonu gën naa ndaw ni ba gaay am confidence si man war maa mun a teg foofu tey soo man li ma góom mooy comme moom ni mu ko waxee nit ku nekk sa nit ñi da nga war a seet naka ngay communiquer te ñoom communication is a key ñun councillors yi am nañ committee bu ñoo wax ward development committee they are the entry point of each wards ñooñu ñoo dee liggéey ak councillors yi communication between the councillors and the ward development committee mooy yóbbu wards yi because if there is communication barrier between the councillors and those committee members dara du dox because ñun comme for example London Corner we have 3 sub wards those 3 sub wards they select nit ñi ñu indi leen si ward bi they are representing their sub wards so da nga gis liggéey bi dafa easy parce que ñoom dañoo jëlee si ward bi ñu delluwaat seen sub ward yi ñu explain ne lii ak lii ak lii la kon xam nga communication is a key.
well dinaa ñëw si yow si loolu parce que of course councilor nga waaye tamit yaa ngi represent a political party si ground bi politically councilor National People's Party nga. Obviously dinaa la ñëw laajte loolu tuuti but I mean, first and foremost, let me just remind our viewers that they are watching Teledal, and we thank our followers on social media handles. People at the diaspora, we highly, appreciate their viewership. Saibo, we've seen a lot of uprisings, movements, of course, protest and all of this. Saibo, if you are to change that, if you are to say, okay, we're not going to protest anymore. We're not going to do these things. We're not going to create problems in this country. What are your steps that you intend to take to ensure that we don't create chaos and anarchy in this country? We at least try to let the government give us our listening ears, or the people that are stakeholders in our democratization and our political dispensation. Some of the things that you think, you are not speaking only by Saibo. You also have people that you work with. I have had a conversation here with the leader of Team Gumsa Bopa, and he defended the Gumsa Bopa movement. So I have the feeling that you don't just want to protest for the sake of protest. You don't want to leave your house at 6 a.m. and just go stand in the street, dealing with the heat, yelling and pushing, getting arrested by the police. Do you think that's the way forward? What would you do to ensure that some of these things that we want to achieve at the end of the day will be achieved in a peaceful and a level playing ground?
Right, thank you very much. I think forced uprising and protests are very peaceful. So if you talk about active, so if you talk about active youth participation into the governance system, or women, or any form, so if you do policy design, you will understand that there's what is called the policy hackathon. The policy hackathon is like a policy tree, and part of it is engagement beyond the office, is engagement beyond being in that position.
Yeah.
And advocacy is a pillar in inclusive governance. And that is why we have government. And that's why if you understand governance structures, we said the government have three arms: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The fourth arm of government is the civil society, the activist movements, and the media.
But why is that not portrayed? Why is that not coming out to play?
So it is coming out to play. It's either we don't pay attention. Today, what is happening right now, right? Your TV station right now is playing that role because we're sitting here talking about governance. That is your way of contributing to governance system. If the movements believe protest is a way to contribute to governance, so that is the movement's mentality. Mind you, protests have solved more problems globally than they have created problems, unless there is not that common ground for listening, like it happens here, it happens in Tunisia.
The fact it's called a protest, there is going to be very difficult.
So no, you know, and then that is the thing. And then one of the solutions I came up with here today about active youth participation in the governance system is to dismantle the negativity attached to protest.
Okay.
The word protest is not negative.
Here you go, you have a platform.
The word protest is as progressive as the word governance, as the word dialogue, because protest itself is dialogue, peaceful dialogue. But dialogue doesn't just have to be over the table all the time. We have seen in US, the black people were not allowed to vote. They did not go to the table. They took the streets, and they were hard, and they changed. In UK, women were not allowed to vote. All those movements are movements that took the streets to communicate the language. Because you see, if I sit with President Barrow, I will have a conversation with him.
Are you willing to do that, Taibu?
Well, I keep telling people, the president is the president of the republic. If I have an opportunity, if I have an opportunity to sit with him, I will sit with him. I don't know if the conversation will go well or he will like the conversation, but I will sit with him. He's my president. I acknowledge that. So I will sit with President Barrow and we will have a conversation and we will talk about what is happening in this country. Probably I could be a better advisor on him on governance, at least, for example, right? But coming back to that, so that's what I'm trying to say, that protest is peaceful. One way is that if Saibo is a National Assembly member, Lamin is not a National Assembly member, and he decided he wants to sow his grievance on the street, that itself breeds healthy democracy, healthy governance. So I just want to clear that part, that it's not being chaotic. What we're supposed to do is, how do we ensure that every democratic pillar is acknowledged and is respected and is given the full respect it deserves? The Public Order Act, for example, is what the chaotic...
I will come to that.
And that's why, let me just help you. So the Public Order Act is what is chaotic, is what is unpeaceful. Because if you read the 1997 Constitution, Section 25, have given people the right to peaceful assembly. That is a fundamental human right. The same Constitution, Section 34, 33 or something, have put limitation. Every right have a limitation. We agree. But you see, if you are going to put those limitations, they must match with the democratic values of that society. Remember, you and I, 10 years ago, have said that we have to get a progressive society where human rights are respected, where democratic values are honored and is anchored on how our governance system go. That's why we removed Jammeh for 22 years.
But how come now it's happening and it wasn't happening then?
So it was happening. The trend of them happening is what differs. You see, people create the government we have now. We did not create the Jammeh government. The Jammeh government came on us. So you see, what you create...
I differ with you because we went to election several times.
So that's what I'm telling you. You see, you look at... I keep telling people this. I see conversation, they will say this. You see, it's not about how it goes. It's about where it began. If Gambians went to the polls in 1994, it was not the soldiers jumping the fence in State House. They would have voted for Jawara. They would have not accepted Jammeh. So that is the imposed part I'm talking about. So when that happened, remember, Jammeh was a junta leader. It becomes easy to manipulate and control state mentality. Okay. So going to elections in 1996, remember, just like the way we sweet talk each other here in 2016, we are going to make reform A, B, and C. At that time, the slogan was the people were tired. They want to fight against corruption. They want to establish a system where our economic and social rights were going to be respected. You and I will listen to that. So that's where the whole problem lies. So we are open to conversations as movements. If you understand how movements evolve around the world, they are the fastest way to change the government.
Thank you very much.
Not as in to change them from another person, but to change the system that runs them. Mind you, I will have to say this. I will repeat. From an academic perspective, protest is not chaotic. Protest is the fastest way to change the status quo of a country to a progressive path if there are fair laws that acknowledge human rights and respect divergent views and conversations.
Thank you very much, Saibo. I'll come to you on that. I have another question. You trigger questions that come, and we will really clarify that. Ñu ngi fàttali suñu seetaan kat yi ne ñu ngi seetaan Teledal suñu weekly show bi la every Friday evening fii si Teledal. Obviously the fix. Aji Sabtu Jay suñ amoon président bu jigéen tey ban différence lay make ak président bu jigéen bu góor.
suñ amoon président bu
jigéen tey loolu ban différence lay make ak président bu góor parce que jigéen ñi dañ tànga ñoom tamit.
dafa am lu ma bugg a wax si jigéen tuuti.
Please go ahead.
soo seetee kër yi benn jigéen mooy amee kër mooy jur doom mooy bale mooy fompa mooy raxas o mooy nekk koo xam ne sax dafa dem liggéey mu wàcc a ñëw amee doomam bale kër fompa toppatoo di whole kër moom kenn su jigéen waree mun activités yooyu yëpp war naa mun a mun activités yu mel noonu si réew.
ok
jigéen dafa am capability boo xam ne soo ko joxee jiitu daf ko dee mun a téye because sawarte bu nekk si moom jigéen dafa sawar dang dee seet léegi waxuma man de waaye léegi si various constituencies or wards dañ dee wax ne bu fi góor bii nekkoon ak bu fi jigéen bii nekkoon lu mu fi def they are two different things.
ci ward yi.
even si
exemple bi nga joxe mooy jigéen ñi luñ mun a achieve góor yi mënuñ ko woon a achieve.
waxuma loolu.
ok pour mu leer rek.
dama ne dang dee seet léegi nit daf dee nekk place su fa jógee su jigéen ñëwee dañ dee wax ne jigéen bii lim fi def ki fi nekkoon defu ko loolu am na si place yu bari various sectors sax am na si biir réew mi fii soo ma ngi laa woon capability bi nga xam ne moo nekk si jigéen.
ok
hence loolu nekk na si jigéen rek jigéen mun naa yóbbu réew.
ok
gis nañ fi président bu jigéen si Liberia.
Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
te Liberia was moving.
technicien la.
Liberia was moving by then.
dëgg gum na.
Liberia desutoon gannaaw. lan moo tax capability bu nekk si moom.
so I advocating for a female president.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not
yet.
No. For me, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to say something?
Yeah, for you say all the qualities you said about a woman, but you're not ready for a woman president. So for me, the joke, I keep saying...
I'm not ready for a woman president.
Yeah, as of now, I understand.
I
so
said
meaning
as of now.
So we still have problems with the capabilities you have in women then.
You said all these good things about being a female.
But you're not ready for them. So you still have a doubt in the capabilities you talk about.
No, I don't have a doubt. There is something else, but not a doubt.
No, I understand from the point you're talking about. But this is what I keep telling people. I think Gambia needs to try a female president. Yes, Jawara was a man, and we have...
Omar, let me tell you something for free. Before a woman became a president in this country, we women should change. There is something.
I want to hear you out.
There is something.
What do they need to change?
What I mean when I said that I am not yet advocating for a woman president. Women need to change. For us women...
You need to take the leadership, huh?
No. If a woman stands for a position, the first bully that you will receive is from your fellow women.
Okay. Also, men should change. It's where I wanted to come to.
There must be changes.
That's where I wanted to hit in to connect it to the topic actually.
There must be changes in us.
Women
because still now it means people don't have that awareness. Some women don't have that awareness that we should advocate for ourselves.
Yes, so that is where I just was a form of a joke, but what I said.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you said all of the good qualities of a woman, I sat and watched how my mom did all of that to us growing up, how you did that to your cheat on somebody. But the moment you have all of those qualities of who a better leader could be, and women could be a better leader, but you're not ready for a woman leadership, that becomes problematic. And the thing you talk about, before that, I keep telling people, Jawara was a male. We still have problems with the 30 years of his rule.
Yes.
Jammeh was a male. We still have 22 years problems.
Yeah.
Barrow is a male. We still have 9 years problems.
I think you said all these presidents are not good enough for you.
No. They're not good enough for the Gambia. I think we need to save
there will be no good president
2026. Let Gambians come together.
2026, whosoever is coming,
2026.
that person will not
Honorable,
be good for you.
Okay, Honorable, 2026.
No,
okay,
that's what I believe.
So what I want us to do is, whether the person will be good or not, can we shift from a male-dominated president space to give it to a woman? If a woman can go...
Will you support it?
Of course, that's what I'm talking about. Right?
That's good.
He advocate for that.
I not today, not just I'm on TV. What I'm trying to say is, if all of the qualities you talk about a woman, it all boils down to one of the biggest qualities of a leader: empathy, consistency, service delivery, effectiveness of doing multiple things at the same time. Let's head to 2026. Collectively, either you are MPP or you're UDP or you are DOI, can we present a woman candidate? That send a signal of our whole conversation around active participation in women. Because, you see, Gambian women should understand one thing. Male presidents will come and use them as a scapegoat, put them as vice president few times, and then they will remove them.
That's true.
Right? We become using them. And then these are the women that clap for us. Today, if you go to a political rally, you have more women than men. I followed your election.
And those same women, any woman that came and want to be something, they are the same women who will bully you.
So you know why?
I'm telling
you know why?
They will clap for you, and the same time they will bully you.
We will solve that problem.
It means the mindset of women should change. That's what I'm saying.
Now, I followed your election. You that was a by-election, right?
Yeah. Right.
I followed your by-election, right? I know everything that happens.
For me, I don't have that problem in London Corner.
Exactly. So that's why I'm coming to, because
bullying, I
had a conversation with somebody that knows you very well. That's why I'm coming to. You know why?
I don't have that.
You know why? Because you created that space, that enabling environment for people to understand you, for people to understand your personality and what you are able to do before seeking for a position. You know, you and I, what we need to do now is to change that mindset. The mindset. You see, our counterpart, that are the male-dominated, they will always feel threatened.
That you are on our side.
Yes,
they will always.
He made it very clear.
They will always feel threatened to have women. You know why? Because a woman leader is a non-compromising individual.
That's true.
You took example of the Liberian president. We have one in Tanzania now.
Yeah.
Right? Even at the global level.
Actually, Tanzania, she is doing extremely well.
Exactly. She is doing extremely well, and she doesn't get controlled by a few cabal of people to dance to the tune of the rest. You understand that?
Yeah.
So that's where the problem lies. You know what we need to do now? You, the grassroots politicians, have a role to play. You can belong to different political parties and then respect that. But you see, if it comes to women and how we amass the interest of women into our political space, we should be women.
That's true.
And then also, it's not women versus men. It's supposed to be a community built on common ground and consensus. That either a man or a woman, there is a leadership needed. When a man can do it, a woman can do it 110 times. And you see, the bullying is not just the women. It's perpetrated by the men we think are silenced from behind.
Yeah.
And now we take the field. If it is complication, Tanzanian politics is more complicated than ours, right? If it is complication, the Prime Minister of Italy today is a female. It's more complicated than us. All of this bullying you are talking about, in fact, this information, the hate speech, is prominent in European politics than it is in here.
That's true.
But women still find their way. What we need to break first, what we need to dismantle, is the unnecessary obsession of leadership positions by men. And make them understand that women, like you sitting here today, you are a ward councillor.
Yeah.
You talk about your impact before holding that position. I have followed your campaign very well. In fact, at some point, I was at London Corner and one night of your campaign, observing the elections. I've heard you speak. I've seen people's reaction. Can't we not create 110 women of your type? We can.
So if I want to contest today, you are going to support
me? For presidency?
Yeah.
Of course. If you want to be president, give me your policies and programs, let's scrutinize them, and we will support you, because at the end of the day, what matters is we need a leader that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Saibo. Thank you very much, Aji Saptige. Yeah. We really appreciate the followers coming on our social media handles, and people at the diaspora reminding them that they are watching Teledal on our weekly Friday evening show, The Fix, and we will go for a short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so you just, you know what I mean? So you play a key role. All right. Thank you very much. We're reminding our viewers that, they are watching Teledal on our weekly show every Friday evening, The Fix. Now, Saibo, I'm going to go back to you. Now, looking at what happens recently, we've seen a protest in Jabang, we've seen a protest in Pura, we've seen protests at the auditor. Of course, I had here Honorable Lamin J. Dabo last week, and he actually, dissected some things for us, which was very interesting. But we keep seeing young people getting very angry all the time, coming up to this protest and protest and protest. We even have a group that call themselves, what do you call it? They're lawless or against outlaws. I mean, can you imagine? You call yourself outlaws in the city of Banjul, the Gambia, in Serekunda. These are new things. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is that is protest the answer, and is protest the order of the day? Can we have an alternative to protest? You just talked about dialogue.
So I keep saying protest is dialogue. So it depends on how we define that. Protest is one of the solutions to our problems. You see, like I said, maybe in the next 20 years, I will leave the streets, for example, and I'll enter the State House, or I'll enter National Assembly, or I'll enter a ministerial position. I have shifted from one part of a governance pillar to the other. So now what happened is civil disobedience is very, very prominent in our democratic dispensations, not only in the Gambia. We don't see protests here. Here we go out and.
But Saibo, iko dinungol korondotale. Ilafta bela do ilafta bela sign.
That's
my problem.
So the claim ko dinungol hawjitale is like we are in 2025. There is no excuse for basic necessities of life in this country. We are saying from 1965. You see, Mohammed, ni wuluta korra kono. Yes, sanji tangworo. Balu. Ime fon domoni no. Ni sasa deka mole dani kodola. Iba fleman baraka. Kodi? Gambia be sanji tangning.
Sanji taworni.
60 years plus. If not exactly. Yeah. We can all still have better healthcare system. We can all still have better educational system. We can all still have better roads. We can all still have 75% youth employment. We cannot even have infrastructures to accommodate us. We don't even have a factory in this country that can employ 2,000 people. You said young funding funding. See, I keep telling you one thing. I mean, not anger for the negative reason.
No, 1 minute. Let me. Do you agree with Omar? Do you agree with him?
No. Matun after the defending the for like. During Jamela time, when Jame was here, mo jamali bulo ko sile ko Jame do ko kele. Iko Jame silol dadal. Iko Jame funding kewol makoyle. Iko Jame lopitanol dadale. Iko Jame fin jamal le changeang. Sain Jame tata. I wo cool be minke. Ite lafta folol hani femman lafa akang na man tala. No, I will not agree to that.
So I know.
No. I will not agree to that.
Anti-honorable, I know.
There must be increasement, not decreasement.
Have we improved?
So let me say one thing.
Let's be just factual.
I see, and that's the problem. Problem with the come. Gambians are very content.
People need to be content.
No. You don't. Yes, with me.
Even the Englishman says, content with what you have. Till you get what you want.
Our individual level, for our money, for our life, we need to be content. But you see, there is quality in development and there is quantity in development. You know what Jammeh did?
Saibo, the question is, from a
no,
move
that's
from
what I'm
zero
coming. No,
to
I'm
some-
You
coming.
want to tell us that we didn't move
that's what I'm saying.
when Jammeh left
So-
Gambia.
so what I'm
we
trying to
didn't
say-
even move
What
one
I'm trying to
inch.
say, honestly,
will
I am
agree
not
to
a
that.
fan of Jammeh, but Jammeh gave us better quality if you come to infrastructure than.
Then
the
there
current
must be
government.
increasement.
No,
than
there is no
decreasement.
increasement. You see, there is no
So
increasement.
there is decreasement.
No, there is decreasement in certain levels. I know, for me, I will have an honest conversation. There are improvements
That
in
is the
certain
fix.
levels.
That's what we do at
Let's
the
say,
fix.
for example,
That's
we still
why
have,
the
we still have,
program is called Fix.
we still
I
have
believe
issues
that.
with our human rights right now. Like I've been a victim of
No,
ICE and all
no,
of that.
no, this
but
is-
now there is a level of improvement
Now-
on how human rights was during Jammeh's time and now. But if you come to infrastructure, let's say, for example, roads. The roads Jammeh built before, they are still more quality than the roads that are built currently. The roads that are built currently, you see, you go to our hospitals today, we still lack healthcare, medicines. You go to our schools today, there are more schools being built. MRC Holland was in here probably during Jammeh's time. We built a lot of schools. But what is the quality in those schools? You see, we know there are few things that are going well. But if we don't have honest conversation about some of these things, they do not work. Right?
Then me and you
now-
should change that.
now-
So that's why,
let's
and that's why we
work
are having
together and change
and that's
it.
why we are having this conversation. I'm
Right.
coming back to answer your question
Right,
now.
right.
That this is why we are having it. There is, you see, sometimes if people are angry in this country, they need to be angry. Have you read the 2023-2024 audit report?
Yes, I've read part of it.
Yes, you have read part of it.
Yes.
But will anger change anything?
That's the question.
So-
My question
Will
is,
anger change anything?
No,
So,
but
no, I mean,
you and
but this
me,
is
we
fair.
have
No,
to
but
work
no, you
together.
don't understand if I said we are
let's
angry.
look at
No,
this.
no, no.
Saibo talked about some of the things that have either degrees or not.
Exactly.
But I want you to come on board. Also tell us. He just talked about what is not up to standard, something of not quality, something not happening. What are some of the increments that have been added since Jammeh, progressively from Jawara to Jammeh to Barrow? What are some of the key development issues that you can literally,
Saibo.
like as if you're talking to Barrow now,
Yeah.
like you're talking to Barrow now?
Silol min data no. Eko do silol ye quality se soto. Eko sila dol min data. E data le bari dol ban quality soto. Sila dol benin sate kono as we are speaking. Sano wo silol data. Sila Jamal benun jang. Connectivity between sate Jamal to. Among soto no sign na soto. If you are talking of the qualities, ko sama kanale sila dol katinya. Yalo nibe diablo. If you are speaking, you speak fact. You speak
No,
very
that is one of the objectives of the fix.
Womu tonyale ti sila dol bije. Ikatinyare. But as I am speaking to you, sila Jamal bije. Sign the data.
But Aji is always Silo the Malon development.
no.
Honorable.
Go ahead. No, just give him chance.
No, wait.
Silo the Malon development. I just nga Silo de da Baro Silo be de da okay sign what the
Hani
Malon.
l'hôpitanol.
Okay.
Ibe min foka. Nga l'hôpitanol jele l'hôpital Jamal in Christajan. L'hôpital Jamal in Christajan. You know what is happening in the Gambia? People need to change.
How?
Molte sindila dulato. You should work for us. Ibela kuo keka. Obe kering na saibo. You should agree to that.
Okay, so this is the thing. Let me just help you there quickly. See?
Molye sindi dulato.
E palaso di la.
Ye plaso dila.
Ite ye fango
You should deliver and you are not delivering. You know, people are taking the lenience of Barrow granted. I'm telling you for free, which is very wrong.
Is his lenience causing us all this? Now,
Yeah,
Saibo,
yeah,
Saibo,
so-
Saibo.
They are
so-
taking it
so-
for granted.
okay, now let's-
I know, Honorable,
let's let me hear
you know, my auntie knows where I was coming to. That's why he talked about Barrow being lenient. You see,
He is lenient, but people should not take it for granted.
if you send your son to the shop and ask him to buy bread, and he buy muchim biscuit, what will you do?
Wrong.
What will you do?
It's wrong. You should
You
punish
hold them accountable.
Yes, you should punish him.
Those who sitting in those offices, who is their boss?
The president
The
of the
president.
republic.
Is
The
there.
president should, and so they do the job rightfully, or they are removed and somebody else is put there. And that's why in the beginning of this conversation, one of the central pillars of governance is accountability. Who implement this
I agree to
accountability? The president.
But I agree
So
to that.
boiling down.
Saibo, I want you to say that in Mandiga. That's very powerful. I want you to say
I
that.
agree to
So
that.
Okay, let's
so
go.
ngabung fo angale kango wolenko. Ako mol mbesiri la office ko ne buka sona ka doko ke mol ke jo mu tonyalde. Bari ha jele nie dingo ki bidiko re kayta mburo say.
I'm mosquitoes.
Ay mbiskido sa ni na ni ma bute iba bayla ya fa amurundi. President o wole wol sindi je ni ndele nga carte o fa télé ate ntelinga sembo be diatella wana nga sembo fanan diala be munkela place jumato ni o mari man place o samano e ka bondile anay kuke munin silo manta e ka kontibole tubawol ka fumi accountability wana brimbe diamo de kan koy ko fadna klimu munka man sakunda tamandi nya bambandi wala kontibodi wala accountability you understand so wala na sometimes nka je mol ka foko but ni manke barola fault baro hire a minister is implicated in an audit report, held them accountable. In fact, build frameworks that help you. You see, if Barrow had an opportunity that none of the president ever had. Barrow come at a time that Gambians were united. Barrow come at a time that we have opened up to resources. Barrow have come at a time that me, you, and everybody thought an opportunity to build a Gambia that Jawara could not build, that Jammeh could not build, that we could build collectively with Barrow.
And you are telling me that he didn't do that? Just be honest.
85% no.
No, I will not agree to that. 85% no, I will not agree to that.
I know you don't agree.
I will not agree to that.
If he is saying 85%,
I am saying you should not agree to read maybe 15% and agree to read 85%. I am telling you for free.
No, obviously, I know you don't agree.
I'm just talking about, again, the involvement of young people, the involvement of women, the involvement of government. When we look at what's happening, Barrow, yes, is very lenient. He's very open-minded. Yes, of course, he tries to give people
and
the
people are taking that for granted.
Oh, yeah, but again, we will also be the one making Barrow the one that's going to be firing people, hiring people, and putting people to, to be accountable of their actions. And at the end of the day, the same Gambians will go and say we are going back to dictatorship again.
Oh no, there is a difference. You see, the difference is Barrow doesn't just get up to act. Barrow is supposed to establish legal frameworks. Let's say, for example, the 2020 draft constitution have given Barrow that liberty.
You're going into another genre.
No.
Those constitutions.
No, so I'm just giving you an example. Forget about the constitution. I'm just saying that the accountability mechanism should be go by law.
Okay.
If the anti-corruption commission is built, Barrow is promoting accountability without being even talking. Now people are answerable to that commission. It becomes the commission's responsibility to hold people accountable. But now the credit goes to Barrow because at least for the first time in the history of this country, an anti-corruption commission is established.
But the act is on right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just giving an example. So if that happens, let's say, for example, the oil scandal thing, those who were culpable, Barrow should be able to hold them accountable.
But there is a framework for that. That's why the National Assembly have that committee.
So the committee have established it, but now heads are not rolling. So I think let's say if I'm president, there are things I will simply implement and nobody will call me a dictator. Nobody will call Barrow a dictatorship if Barrow comes on national TV in Mandinka and Wolof and say, in Mandinka and Wolof and tell Gambia dingule ko nyalla million le sunya munyanda kal dingul karandi, munyanda kal jara, munyanda ka silol dara. Nobody will call him a dictator. You see, if you know who is called a dictator, somebody that doesn't have genuine conversations and connection with his people about his actions, rather monopolize it and individualize it. That is different from look at one of the reasons why the Janet Commission report or after the sales of the Janet Commission, every Gambian, even Bassi, somebody that have not been to school, understand it and is mad about it because the people that pick it up speaks the people language.
I understand from over here.
So
do you understand this?
No,
he's trying to say.
I don't.
He's trying to say those protesting, let's say Gala, they came out to the streets starting with, they call themselves looters of Jammeh. I said that's what they're going against. The reason why they're able to connect with somebody who is even not yet going to school in Basse is because they are speaking the language of the people. That's what he's saying. So he's justifying.
No, I'm not justifying. I'm advising President Barrow
because
on how he should run his country. Today I'm being an advisor to him, right? Very nice, right? But those are the kind. You see, governance is not a very difficult thing to do. She will tell us from a very local level as a councillor. She knows how she manage her people. She knows what her people want, and she knows at what time she needs to be very assertive. Sometimes she's very assertive. Sometimes somebody will say honorable is a dictator. But you need to understand at what time you need to be assertive, at what time you need to be soft, and at what time you need to be action-oriented. You see, if you know
so
this,
you agree with him on this point?
No, for this point, I agree with you.
So
But for the other points, I don't.
If you understand this, now you know why. If you understand, you know what will happen. Nobody calls you a dictator. Now they judge you based on your actions, and that's how a leader should look like. You should not be predictable. You should not be stationed somewhere because you're scared. Cyborg will say this. You know what you should be scared of? What you deliver so that Cyborg's life is protected and there is progress. And that's what governance look like. So coming back now, let's talk about young people and governance. There are principally various ways in how young people can contribute to governance. First, young people should start taking up leadership position.
Young people are very important in this country.
Society. Let's take up
They
leadership position.
they form the cream de la cream of the society.
exactly.
But before they became politicians, they should engage themselves in community services
So that's what I'm coming to.
and community development.
So that's what I'm coming to.
Because we have very young people.
Ajay, you've just triggered something.
Yeah, community services and community development.
So
we have young people at ward levels. Whenever there is a work at the ward level, young people will sit in the corner. I'm not saying for London Corner. For London Corner, they are very much supportive. Whatever I do, they will say.
I think I should study your leadership model.
Yeah, young
London
people
Corner is
for
very
London
progressive,
Corner.
huh? Yeah.
Young people are very supportive. I'm telling you for free. They are very supportive because I'm a woman.
I know.
If they don't support me, I will not be here today.
True.
So young people at London Corner, they are very much supportive. What I'm saying is, young people should engage themselves in community development, community services. You know, you cannot just wake up one day and want to force yourself to be a politician when you are not engaged at the community level, at the grassroots.
Yeah, that's why I'm coming to. You see, all of these things,
I have a question,
at the end of the day, it starts from the grassroots.
Yeah.
How you wake up in the morning and see your environment as a young person.
Yeah.
How you wake up and then the kind of job you do in your environment, the kind of people you interact with shape you for the upper level, right? And that's what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at community service. I'm looking at how we contribute to that government structure. Like the way you acknowledge that young people in London Corner Ward are very supportive of you. Let's have 10, 15 councillors within KMC saying that now young people are the leaders. You see, leadership is not the position.
Now, but Saibo, I have a question. There is a question that's right now trending on social media. They're just asking you, because you are here. The question is, what would you tell somebody who says your intentions as a movement, your intention as an activist, majority of the people around you is a political ambition? Or you are being motivated by a political, let's say, for example, a party behind you, or some people that are interested in politics are actually pushing you forward to be protesting against every single decision that government takes?
Yeah, but probably they don't understand what a movement
I just want you to vindicate yourself, because this is the question.
we're not individually, I have been an activist for the past 10 years. Of course, you know. I have been on the streets. I have done a lot, if you come to speaking truth to power, consistently since 2016. And I have sat with politicians over and over that they want me to support them. You see, me, I will say this one more time, that even somebody call me and say, Saibo, you are doing a good job, I want to send you a wave. I said, I'm not doing this job for money.
Who says that Gala was being sponsored and you guys had issues because of money?
No, we did not have issues because of money. That was a misconception. We have issues because of conviction and belief and the principles of Gala.
You understand?
When that comes out, when that happened, somebody came out and bring the money issue. Nobody had problem with anybody because of money.
Because they said the cause you are fighting is what you're actually harboring.
No, so we don't. So you see,
So you want to tell us that all those people behind you guys, none of them belong to political parties?
So everybody
is asking that question.
So
people are asking.
I will come to that. Everyone belongs to a party. You know,
That's correct.
I keep saying this.
I
keep saying this. Even President Barrow can sponsor Gala.
Yeah.
As far as you're a Gambian, you believe in the principles of Gala. Gala is a political movement, and our activities are political activities. What we are not is partisan. We don't belong to a party.
I never knew that it's a political movement.
Yeah, so every movement in the world is political. Because the activities you see, political participation is different from partisan political participation. Political participation is the broader spectrum.
Saibo, say this in a local language, because somebody want to understand this language. Because I am beginning to understand.
Yes.
I personally don't understand this. So clarify it to me.
So, lafaka mumfo lenko. Gala mu movement, political movement oleng. Niko political movement or political way is the broader spectrum that includes governance and the government and the state and everyone involved. That is political. So if you come partisan, adate partito. Party, pridake partito is a part of being political. You understand? So everybody that is partisan is political, but it's not everybody political necessarily partisan. You get it? So that's the difference. So movements and civil society organizations are all political by the virtue that we run our affairs within the political spectrum. But we are not political because we don't say, come on, vote for us. We are not partisan rather, and we don't say vote for President Adama Barrow or vote for Honorable Usain Dabo or Mama Kane. That's the job of the politicians. What we do is to hold both government and those political parties accountable. If you understand the intent of Gala.
Saibo, we had somebody who was protesting as part of your team and stood there. Today, we will move Barrow out of the State House.
So moment.
You heard that, right? You heard the two,
yes,
right?
Yes. I want us to get this, that one of the hardest thing is to control messaging at protests.
Okay. All right.
Globally.
All right. No problem.
Globally, that is difficult. We have a central message. And most of the time, people should go by what the central message is. But what somebody individual in a corner says, we cannot have control over that.
And you can't be accountable
We cannot be accountable for that.
Okay, that
if
makes
there are
sense.
certain things I say, like Saibo, as spokesperson of Gala, that becomes problematic. Because I should at all times speak the message,
So some
language.
Some people will just use your platform
to say something.
to say something or express whatever they want to say.
It's not to use the platform. You see, in every movement, in every society, there are people whose anger level or self-expression level are not the same. You get?
Yeah.
And if that happens, this is what it does. You bring people to the protest ground. Some people have personal issues.
That's what I'm saying.
So those kind of things.
You see that?
Yeah,
That's
those
what
kind
I'm
of things.
saying.
And
So they bring their personal angers.
So no,
They use the
They use the opportunity.
on the
so
platform.
and then that's what movements are for, is to create a platform for people to show their dissatisfaction. Probably sometimes the way we do it is overboard, but the entire idea is, if we say let's come to protest about Muhammad today, somebody else will be able to come and say, me, I don't have a problem with Muhammad, but this is a platform for me to also protest against Omar because this is what Omar do to me. That's how protests look like.
Saibo, you know I am with young people.
Absolutely.
And I support young people.
Absolutely.
Now, what is the way forward about all these protests?
So the way forward, the way forward is this. Protest seeks to solve certain societal problems.
Saibo, I want to use the opportunity to fix it.
Now, the one way to fix it is the placard and the mic on the streets. And then the other way to solve it is the person I protest against come out and tell Saibo, I heard you, I hear you rather. Your plights are important. Yes, your plights are important. We will solve your plights and we go ahead and solve them. Come on.
So if I
go out to protest, look,
you hear what his
I keep saying
are.
it.
Right.
I keep saying one of the biggest achievements of Gala, and that's also an achievement of President Barrow, is when we demanded for him to come out and speak, he came out and spoke. When we asked a committee to be set up and investigate, they set it up and investigate. So now,
even the purer one,
exactly, even the purer one. So now, you are being responsive. You see, governance, if there is another pillar that we talk about, is responsiveness. Listening to your people, resonate with their needs and aspirations, and respond to them accordingly. That in fact give you more legitimacy than the law that backs you. So you see,
those that make Adama Barrow democratic.
Problematic.
Can you imagine?
So if I don't mean Adama Barrow is problematic. I mean the question. Now, you see, the whole conversation about democracy is, for the longest time, the biggest unconclusive debate. We cannot be conclusive about it. I will just give you a scenario of Europe debates about what democracy means for them right now. After the economic crisis in Europe in 2008.
But we have democracy.
Yes. So I'm just giving an example before I come to that.
I'm telling you for free.
Europe,
we have democracy.
Europe
I'm
accused.
telling you for free. I said now we have democracy.
Okay, no problem. Europe,
No, yes or no, Saibo?
I will come to that. Europe accused. Europe
have democracy in this country.
accused themselves that the problem of that economic crisis.
We have freedom of speech.
That the problem of
People
that economic crisis
okay, go ahead.
is the system of
themselves.
democracy they put in place.
Give chance.
They said a scholar by the name Brex wrote that Europe should move from liberal democratic system to a more cosmopolitan democracy. I know what cosmopolitan democracy means. Democracy ruled by the culture and values of the society. So that means even in Europe, where we thought we imported democracy, there's no conclusion of what democracy means. And it becomes difficult to define within a premature society like Gambia what democracy means. Now, whether Barrow is democratic or not, there are tests to that.
All right.
And there are gains in it. And there are wins and losses to that. And that's where I will stop. But he needs to do a lot more better.
Now,
But you don't answer the question still. When
now,
they say
Okay, we are 35% democratic.
at least from 0, we are now going. You just rate it 35. Somebody will.
Is that a good rate?
Aji, what would you rate it?
Is that a good rate?
Democracy compared to what happened?
You know-
give it to 85.
85%.
No, Honorable, you know what you should do?
85.
You are-
50 difference.
So you know what you should do?
85.
You know what you should do? So let's say, for example, right now, you are my public official. You hold a public office. So if I tell you it's 35%, you should agree with me and tell me Saibo will improve.
We
All
will
right.
improve.
Thank you.
We are at 85. And we
Now,
will try
we are
to
running
go
out
to
of time.
100.
We are running
We
out
are
of
trying
time.
to go to 100, but we are at 85.
We are running out of time. We just have few more minutes to go, reminding our viewers that we thank them for following us on our social media handles and watching Teledal on our Friday evening shows, The Fix. On a wrapping up moment now, Aji, you could use the opportunity also to talk to your people and also use the opportunity to talk about a little bit of your challenges, how you think you can resolve those challenges. Jafe-jafe yow mundi am rek, we look at some of those things. Te su nekkoon rek doon wax ak nguur gi, what would you want to do better in terms of you becoming a local person at the grassroots level? You're dealing with the Kanifing municipality headed by a non-member of your party, of course, headed by an opposition. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, how do you want to mitigate those things just to come together to ensure that your ward goes forward, your region goes forward, and probably forward for the country as well? So we thank you very much for coming to the show, The Fix, and we are so much grateful, and we hope to have you another time. And thank you.
I'm coming with Saibo.
All right. Okay, go
Of
ahead.
course,
All
always.
right. Okay.
Let me go to Wolof.
Please, the ball is...
Dama lima wax fofu Diallo KMC man fofu la boka. KMC dafa am lo xamne nit ñi liñ dé fay lu ñoo wax namo 60% should go back to the people. 60% bobu dañ ko dé sédalé ci 19 wards yépp loolu lañ dé wax ward development fund mom lañ jël ñu liggéey yi nga xam ne comme liggéey yu ndaw la daal parce que main liggéey yooyu councilors yi dee waxtaan ñu d'accord ko ñu liggéey ko so 60% of taxpayers money man bu ma nekkee councilor si council bi 2022 laa ñëw 200,000 la war a nekka waaye 2022 100,000 laa receive 2023 100
kese
2024 boobu receive fu ma dara 2025 bi joxe waat nañ waaye wàllu noonu suñ ma seetaan xaalis bi du dee ñëw daxe rek si loxo consulo bi daf dee dem si account parce que ward bu nekk da nga am account te da nga am 3 signatories bu mu demee si account bi dama oote ward development committee bi ñu toog ñu waxtaan ñu seet lan ak lan la ñoo liggéey loo xam ne we need most xam nga not all your one
I receive full 2024
no
2025 nga am
2024 dafa am developments yu bari yoo xam ne council bi dañ ko def te man I was part of that resolution to be honest parce que bu ñu waxee ne dañoo defar ay yoon man dama d'accord ma vote ko bu ñu waxee ne dañoo build Charles Diaw library dama d'accord ma xaw ma Charles Diaw assembly hall dama d'accord ma vote ko library bi dama d'accord ma vote ko so loolu dafa indi loo xam ne comme funds amuñ ko woon pour mu delluwaat suñ nit ñi parce que dañ def major projects
okay
understand nga man bokk naa si so du ma mun a toog fii tey ne xaalis bi soo gisee téyewuñ ko lii te I know actually xaalis bi fu mu dem dangaa gis ne liggéey boobu ñu ngi si kawam minor projects lañ dee def ak xaalis boobu waaye comme jigéen bu mel ni man am position da nga nit ku la support parce que support boobu mooy tax nit ñi gën a gis ne kii gender bi dañ koo pousse ne kii development war na koo mun a def so that support should be there parce que xam naa ne loo gis ñu koo liggéey rek xaalis moo ko dee def asat now xaalis buñ ñu jox sax dañ am waxtaan ñu ni neen ak World Development Committee bi so am nañ yoo xam ne loolu lañ teg loolu lañ war a liggéey waaye to be honest candidates yi nga xam ne jigéen lañ te dañ nekk si positions they definitely need support pour ñu mun a yóbbu either their constituencies or their wards without those supports daf dee métti parce que nga nekk jigéen nga amee place te amuloo ku la dimbale tuuti rek daf dee métti so ñun lu ñoo wax yaa ngi wax government
maa ngi lay déglu
lu ñoo wax nguur bi luñ munti dimbale si female candidates yi nekk Gambia from Katong to Koyna nañ koo bugg di def ñu xam ne there is a difference parce que ñii jigéen lañ te ñii góor lañ
te jigéen yaa ngi liggéey
dafa am lu xew Gambia sax man li ma gis
am na institut yoo xam ne
soo bindee jigéen duñ la dee jël duñ la dee faale duñ la dee support ñu waa seetaan te ñu ngi support ñeneen so ñun dañ ñiit nguur gu mag bi mu dimbale ñu nuyu waalo noonu rek di leen gërëm di nuyu Saybo once more kii nag ñoo invité kii pare o maam
thank you very much Aji Sabti J of London Corner Saybo you use it as an exit point but this is very important for me and it's important for everybody in this country because we either like it or not, as a nation, we've acknowledged the presence of protests in the country. This has nothing to do with Saibo, because probably you were not at Jabang. Probably you were not at the one that was done outside the courtroom at Westfield. Maybe you were at Pura. Maybe you were not. But I'm only sure of seeing you at the gala, which I remembered. But to be very honest, it's about the young people. And if they are really the cream de la cream of the society, we need to talk to who we are, talk to the young people, talk to the country, talk to the government, and see what you can do to make sure that at least we don't set this country ablaze, because we've seen a taste of it in April 10th. So we don't want such a thing to happen in this country. We don't want guns, rubber bullets to be switched with live ammunitions. Of course, we've seen some other things that happened recently. Is the Mandinari one. Really, there are lots of things that are happening by the young people.
I'll speak to the young people.
Use the opportunity, talk to the young people, talk to the government, talk to the stakeholders like the security force. We would like to hear you, but at the bottom line is we need to fix these monies and we need to come to the drawing board and talk as Gambians, because that's who we are. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We are very much grateful being followed on all our social media handles. Of course, this will trend. Know that you are speaking to the Gambian at home and at the diaspora. We are so much grateful to have you on this platform, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. It's a pleasure to be here, and I couldn't be prouder to have shared this platform with my auntie, very smart politician. I think I'll come to London Corner and visit you. It's important to have a conversation, and conversations need to be genuine and straightforward, because at the end of the day, the Gambia belongs to us, Gambians, regardless of our political affiliation, regardless of our religion and regionalism. At the end of the day, whether you live in Central River region, but Gambia needs to move, and Gambia needs to progress. And it's the women, the young people, the old that comprises of the Gambia. And one way for Gambia to progress is progressive laws, inclusive laws, especially laws that defend young people and women, that include them not just as companies and young people on the streets and in the rallies, but on the center stage. As we speak, one of the most progressive African countries is Rwanda. They have 60% quota system in their parliament. We are right now 8% of women in our National Assembly member, where all of these policies are made. Because what we need to understand sometimes, this is for the government and all of us, what we need to understand sometimes, I understand women pride as a woman more than a guy will do. Just like the way as a young person, I will understand the pride of young people more than the 80 years old. So if we all come together with the 80-year-old, with the 90-year-old, with the male counterpart and sit on the table, better policies, better ideas will come up, and that is very well. And you talk about protest, not again, but I think whatever happened that becomes chaotic in this country on protest, most of the time is not on the side of the young people. April 10-11 was the failure of the state to contain innocent children that just demand for their rights. In Mandinaring, it was the same. So what we need to do is to have, like you said, let's have that conversation. The security forces need to understand The government needs to understand that at the end of the day, we are the government, and our voices and plight needs to be respected, and then it needs to be heard. And in that way, we are able to have a conversation from afar. We don't always have to sit to have a conversation. I can sit on TV today, I'm having a conversation with somebody probably far away, but what I'm saying resonates with his thinking, or doesn't resonate with his thinking, but he will change his way of thinking. And I keep telling people, anytime for me I speak, I feel like it's more of a distant advice for the president. Well, okay, Saibo is speaking. He doesn't even like what I'm saying, but probably he will, deep down, he will agree with me or not. To the young people, the streets are alive and are one of the alternatives. But also we need to get into the system, like he said, community services, community development. Let's get into political parties. Let's seek for political office. Let's connect with the people. Let's make sure that we change the mindset. Because at the end of the day, we are 60% of the population of this country. If we want to make a president, we'll make a president. If we want to remove a president, we'll remove a president. And if we want this country to go, it will go. Let us build our capacity. Let us build our skills. Let us be educated, both within and outside the classroom. And let's champion what it takes and build a nation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Saibo. Thank you very much, Ajisaptu J. We are very much grateful for all the audience that we have and also the followers on our social media handles. Once again, this is our weekly show on Teledal, and this is our show called The Fix. And obviously, we come here, we look at burning issues, current affairs, and come up with solutions. Today's topic was more of engaging women and young people in our democratization and governance of this country. We thank everybody to be being part of this, and kontaan nañ torop te ñu ngi gërëm sant everybody that has been part and parcel of this show. Thank you so much.